Hey, what's going on? This isn't scripted. It was just on my mind when I woke up this morning, and I thought it would be a good thing to talk about. Because sometimes I get like ranty and preachy on my Tumblr or my Twitter or whatever, and I just go like a big spiel at a time about specific subjects. And I was like, you know what? What about this? This one's pretty important to me, so I think I'm gonna because it's not a popular opinion. It's like a weird thing amongst different people, and I understand where all of them in all cases come from. But it's weird. And so I just want to propose how I think about this particular issue in video form. Like I said, it's not scripted or anything. I actually was just playing Dragon Age, so I don't have the script in front of me or anything, like I do sometimes for some things. But I remember yesterday talking to more than one person actually, on their use of slurs, and like amongst your friends. And I'm sorry for the things that I say, uh, in this video. I'm going to say a couple things. I won't say certain things, and I'll make a point as to why. But I just like to call back to one Louis C.K. thing. He said, and I thought this was funny, and I thought it was hilarious. Everybody does, and most sane, intelligent people who are reasonable individuals agree with it. He said, "Faggot." The word "faggot" doesn't mean gay. It means you're being a faggot because when you call somebody a faggot, they're being like the example he used was when a guy was just being a generic twat. He wouldn't be calling him a faggot because he was gay. He would be calling him that because he was being a huge douchebag. And the words like douchebag stem from, well, not word, like I know what the word means, but like its use as a derogatory term stemmed from just being called just a generic use, not derogatorily in any fashion. Like if you call somebody stupid, you're not calling them stupid because of like a race connotation or an orientation thing. Um, Yesterday in particular struck out to me because I heard the word fag used very liberally by several people, and I was, I'm okay with it because when you're talking to your friends, and it doesn't matter, like even if you're talking to a gay friend and they like will call you a fag or themselves a fag, just casually, because that's what you do amongst friends. You insult each other and things. Wow, I just noticed how heavy the bags under my eyes are, but to me, I just don't. And I used to use those words like that too. Like my black friends, would call me and themselves the N word, and I was just like okay with that. I was okay with them using it because people just use that. My white friends will sometimes just use those words towards each other. Neither of the two parties involved being black or having anything to do with it, or even with also our circle, the black friends in our circle, the gay friends in our circle. All these slurs go back and forth, and nobody means anything by it. It's just playfully calling each other by their names. These names, I don't know, it's just part of the banter throughout the day. But I personally stopped using things like that. Like I used to do it all the time, and it's not like an insensitivity thing. I'm not one of those people that's like, "Oh, you don't say retard. It's offensive to retarded people. People who actually have mental issues. Don't use that as an insult." Or I'm not going to say like, "Don't use faggot as an insult because it's, bad for gay people." Like nobody actually gives a shit. Most people don't give a shit. Like who can be categorized as people whom you would be using that term against should you have some kind of prejudice. Most of those people don't care. Most gay people call people fags liberally, things like that. Just in my experience anyway, from the Northeast, and just most places I've been. Been on the internet, that's just what happens. You call somebody, it's some people do have problems with being racist, being prejudiced, and they use those terms towards the people that they used to target. They still use them in that fashion, and I'm glad to say that those people are becoming more of a minority. Like there's less and less people all the time that are so close-minded as to still be racist and still be able to have that mindset, and I'm glad to see that. But there are still those cases there, and that's not okay. But me personally, why I won't use words anymore like faggot or the N word. I see white people. I'm not even gonna say it just for the sake of presenting an argument or describing something in a civil manner. I just don't have to say it. I don't have to. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm not going to say it because I'm not black. I'm not going to say it because. Or I'm not going to say it. Wait. I'm not going to say it not because I'm white. Not because. Not because like I'm not racist. I'm not racist at all. My grandfather's black, if that means anything. So I am kind of black. Obviously, I'm pale as a sheep, but if I actually got some sunlight other than closed windows all day long, then I might have a little color to the skin. But the main reason that I don't like using those terms anymore, and why I think that other people should reconsider their use of them so liberally, is out of respect for people that were victimized in the past because of it. I know people take words like that and they're like, we can take those slurs back. They're like, if you just remove the meaning and if you remove the malice behind comments such as using the N-word towards a person, people believe that if you start using those terms more casually and they're more widespread, it loses its offensiveness to some people and it's not considered a bad word anymore. The bad will be removed. And I completely understand that, and I think that could work in some cases, but in others it just won't, or it will take a very long time to do so. It's okay, I understand exactly what people mean by that, and I also understand people that are just like, how about you just don't say the words at all? I personally find this my own reason for not saying the words at all. Like I said, because of past victims. For example, I find Holocaust jokes in bad taste because, and this has reminded me of upcoming 70th anniversary of the Auschwitz camp liberation. This is what made me think of it yesterday. I don't make Holocaust jokes anymore. I don't laugh at Holocaust jokes. I don't think they're funny because of so many people that died and so many people still today suffered. You know how many of the old people, of those survivors, even though they're like 80, 90 years old, they still have problems. Their whole lives were just ruined from that. You can't even imagine like the horrors these people went through, and all those countless people that died, and not just died like in a hospital. So many people die like every day in hospitals just of old age and shit. I mean, these people were tortured, they were starved, they were just burned alive. It was horrendous. And out of respect for those people, I won't laugh at Holocaust jokes. I won't make them. The only time the Holocaust should be referenced is, as an educational tool. In the history classroom or whatever have you. And I don't want to use the word fag. It's not... Pretty much nobody finds that word offensive now. Westboro Baptist Church is like, haha, fags burn in hell. And everybody else who's not them is just like, big deal. You're not solving anything. You're not reaching any goal by doing this. Unless you're trying to make money, which is pretty much what they are basically doing. But they're a different discussion. The reason why I'm not saying that is because while it might not be offensive today, it might not have as huge an impact as it used to. It's out of respect for all of the people that were killed. Like, there's so many people that have died. They were murdered for being gay. They still are. And by those people that used that word in that way. So I'm just not going to use it in a light, playful, casual tone like everybody else does. I just can't bring myself to do that. I'm not comfortable doing that. Because of all those people that have lost their lives. So many people throughout slavery. The stem of the N-word came from just an angry white guy decided to make those sounds come out of his mouth one day when referring to his slaves. Through slavery... and through, the civil rights movement before and after. Today, you think the civil rights movement worked? It largely, in part, did. For the most part, it's better. It's much better today than it was 50 years ago. But it's still not the best. It's still not... Everything's not okay. I gotta say, it's the biggest increase, and we're the closest to having these issues resolved today than we were before. But clearly, after Ferguson and all these, things... racial tensions and shit... It's not even close to being done yet. So much progress has been made, but there's still so much yet to do. And it's out of respect for all the people that have died, all the people that were murdered, all the people that have been sent to the hospital and just assaulted for their race, their orientation. Whether you're gay, transgender, any race that's not Caucasian. I don't like white people anymore. Just because they used to be the majority, they're kind of not now. In the sense that less than 50% of people, at least in the United States, are white. I think it's like 49% with them, and the rest of the like 50 something percent are all the people of every other skin color that's just not pale as a sheet, white, ghostly. It's just not okay. It's okay with me if you feel like using those terms. I personally am not offended, and I believe that nobody should be offended by using those terms. But I believe that like when somebody who assassinates the president, when their gun is put up in a museum, it's not, it has nothing to do with anything other than, here's an example, here's a historical piece of this right over here for you to look at, for you to remember, to teach you. And it's put away, and it's to never be touched, to never be used. It's just there as an artifact, as an example. And that's what I think those words should be. Like, we shouldn't use them anymore because they were created for bad purposes. And I feel like even if you take away what makes a slur sting, it still has the history of being a bad word. It still has the history of being used with that attitude by those people who did those atrocious things to other human beings, because the people who do things like that don't deserve the title of human being. At that point, you are trash to me. At that point, what are you? So I think that those words should be hung up on the rack. They should be put in a museum, and I personally just don't use them anymore for that exact reason. I just can't do it. And if you use them, I'd appreciate it if you joined in the conversation. If you let me know what words you don't mind using, words you don't mind hearing, how you feel other people should feel about these words, how you feel other people should use or should not use these words. Because it's an important conversation to have, I think. Because conversation is what these words are used in. And granted, it is the context of a word that makes it bad. You can say anything with a kind of stank on it and, mean offense with it. Like, oh, that girl's wearing blue jeans, or that girl's wearing blue jeans. Like, you're prejudiced against people wearing blue jeans or whatever. It is how you say it, not what you say. But I do believe, I feel now, I didn't always feel this way, but I do feel now that some words just don't need to be used. It's not necessary to use them. And there will be a lot of people that you can say something like that to, and they'll be like, oh, stop being a pussy, it's just a word, it doesn't hurt anybody. You're just hurting your feelings. No, it's not that. It's that I just feel indecent for using those terms with the memory in mind of all those people that, in the past that have been victimized. I, as a white, straight, middle-class male, look at my blue hair. My different hair colors are pretty much the most, have garnered the most, like, odd looks and disrespect from other people. Like, I have no reason, I've never faced prejudice. It's, like, impossible for me to. Are you kidding me? So I have no idea. I cannot relate whatsoever to all these people that are victimized just by existing as they are. So I think that the least I can do is respect that. And just put slurs in a museum somewhere. Put them in the back of the dictionary. And say, this is the history of this word. Alright, so as long as you understand that you do what you want to do, because you're a free-willed human being, you make your own decisions. I can't tell you what words to say or not to say. I'm not your mother. Just consider it, Thank you for watching this rant. I didn't mean for it to last nearly 15 minutes. It's been a while since I did a video like this, actually. Probably resuming gameplay stuff tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching, and I honestly want you to. I would love it if you shared your opinion with me, Facebook, Twitter, in the comment section down below. And I hope you took something away from my thought process and can use it in your own life to better yourself or those around you. Just one step at a time. One day we will get to where we need to be as a society.